You want to listen to a podcast?
By who?
Georgia GOP Congressman Doug Collins.
How is it?
The greatest thing I have ever heard in my whole life.
I could not believe my ears.
In this house, wherever the rules are disregarded, chaos and mob rule. It has been said today, where is bravery? I'll tell you where bravery is found and courage is found. It's found in this minority who has lived through the last year of nothing but rules being broken, people being put down, questions not being answered. And this majority say, be damned with anything else. We're going to impeach and do whatever we want to do. Why? Because we won an election. I guarantee you, one day you'll be back in the minority and it ain't gonna be that fun. Hey everybody, Friday's Finest, it is here. Just a minute, James will be joining us and we'll be going over all of the great stuff from this week. There's a lot of good stuff to touch on. We're going to be hitting a vast array of topics as we go. But today, as I get started, I want to bring out a couple of things. Last week was the Masters. Masters was an incredible golf tournament, even with the rain in the middle and the cold. And Jon Rahm won the Masters. Jon Rahm, an incredible champion. I mean, he's been just one of the steadiest golfers over the last few years that we've had. But something struck me just this week. A lot of times after you win a major championship, you know, you may not, especially in golf, you may not play the next week. And it's always been the tradition that the RBC Heritage, which is at Hilton Head, is always the week after the Masters. And it's only about, so it's not very far from Augusta down to Hilton Head. And Rahm had agreed to play in the RBC Heritage, and a lot of people thought that he may, after this past weekend winning the Masters and everything, drop out of it. Jon Rahm said that no, he would play. He is going to play in the Masters currently playing now in this event. And he basically said, look, I made a commitment. He said, I made a commitment. I made a promise, and I'm going to keep up that promise. He said, I'd hate to be a parent, and especially a kid who wants to come out and see somebody who they'd agreed to, and especially a Masters champion. I'm not going to disappoint them. So, they're still good in the world of sports, and I'm glad to see Jon Rahm living up that. Also, one other announcement before we get into Friday's Finest. This is sort of on its own. As you well know, I'm a University of Georgia football fan. We have 2 back-to-back national titles, and also voted consistently the best live mascot in the business, and that is Uga, our English Bulldog, white English Bulldog. Q has been the Bulldog now for the last few years. He's getting a little bit older, and it has been discussed that now a younger sibling, Boom, is going to take over as the collar gets passed this fall when Georgia takes the field for football. We'll have a new University of Georgia mascot. Now, for those of you who are looking for a lot of differences, not going to be a lot of differences. They sort of look alike. But for those of us who have watched and who've been just thrilled by the last few years of Georgia football, especially the 2 national titles, almost a third one from a few years ago, just a lot going while Q has been the leader of the Bulldog Nation. He is now stepping down and retiring. And as we say, down here in Georgia, and we say about those at Georgia, he is a damn good dog. So that is the next title run begins under a new mascot at the University of Georgia. Lots is still going on, but you know what today is? Today is Friday's Finest. Today is the day we put aside the political realms. We talk about the things in life that normally you only talk about around the dinner table or at the Waffle House or at their cocktail parties. We're giving you cocktail party fodder for this weekend. Thank us now. You're welcome. We'll be ready. James, our Texan by way of New Jersey, will be joining me here in just a few minutes, and we will get started here in just a minute. Hey, everybody, you know about Legacy Precious Metals. Legacy Precious Metals, you hear from them. We talk once a month. We talk about Legacy Precious Metals, talking about precious metals being part of your portfolio, how they're your navigator. Well, now they're not only navigating in a new way, they're actually giving you a new way to buy gold and silver. In fact, Legacy Precious Metals has developed a revolutionary new online platform that allows you to invest in real gold and silver online. In a few easy steps, you can open an account online, select your metals of choice, and choose to have them stored in a vault or shipped to your door. I'm more of a ship to my door kind of person. I enjoy having them with me, but they can do it either way, and you can now do it online. It gives you real access to a dashboard where you can track your portfolio growth in real time, anytime. You'll see transparent pricing on each coin and bar. This puts you in complete control of your money. This platform is free to sign up for. Just visit legacypminvestments.com and open your account and see this new investing platform for yourself. Gold hedges against inflation and is against a volatile stock market. A true diversified portfolio isn't just more stocks and bonds, but a different asset class. This platform allows you to make investments in gold and silver, no matter how small or large, with just a few clicks. Remember, do as I have done. Go to legacypminvestments.com and get started today. And now you've got a new tool to help you along in your investments. Hey folks, MyPillow is excited to bring to you their biggest bedding sale ever. For a limited time, you're going to get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, a set of pillowcases for only $9.98, and rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. $99.99. Get a mattress pillow topper. Look, they come in all sizes. They got all kinds of stuff. Blankets. They've got duvets. They got quilts. They got comforters. They got body pillows. They got bolster pillows. They got all at big, big discounts. And also, they're extending their money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1, 2023, making them the perfect gift for your friends, your family, and for everyone you know. Folks, and just from a personal note here, I have the Giza Dream Sheets. They're on my bed right now. I slept on them last night. Some of the best sheets that we and Lisa and I have ever owned. They are worth, at this price, they're a steal. My wife and I have bought bed sheets, linens at much higher cost. It's supposedly much higher quality. These from MyPillow are at the highest of quality, and at a price like this, you can't beat it. So go now to MyPillow.com, use promo code Collins, COLLINS, or call 1-800-986-3994, and you'll get huge discounts on all the MyPillow bedding products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, and get all your shopping done while qualities last. And remember, put in that promo code Collins for these discounts. All right, we're back. All right, James, it's Friday's Finest. I know that you were really tearfully moved in the intro there about UGA.
Listen,
we're switching.
I saw this yesterday that UGA will be switched, which what a life that's got to be.
It's
to
tough.
Be the most famous mascot dog. Well, I guess they're in football because I'm sure I'm missing somebody.
Yeah. Well, but look, this dog is tough. For PETA and all them. You remember when UGA didn't make it out to the national title game in Los Angeles? People
right.
saying this is terrible. They treat this dog. This dog has its own SUV it rides in, a black Suburban that he rides in when he comes from Savannah to the Athens. When he gets to Athens, he has his own condominium area where he stays and he rests and he gets down. When he gets to the ball field at Sanford Stadium, he can stay inside. He can come outside. When he comes outside on the field and runs ahead of is ahead of the Georgia intro, he walks around, does what he wants to do, and then he goes to a doghouse that, I kid you not, is air-conditioned in the early games, heated in the winter games, and if it's really warm on a certain day in say, September, they put a bag of ice in the doghouse on the sidelines that he lays on.
Doug, I think people forget this. Is like 50 years ago, dogs were treated like rats. Like, I'm just going to tell a quick story because it's awful and it makes me upset every time I think about it. But it is a little funny. So my mom thought her dog ran away when she was little. And a little before my grandparents passed, I was telling them about my dog and how he got out and I brought him back in or whatever. And my grandparents go, your grandfather dropped your mother's dog off because he was annoying. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, he took it for a drive and he dropped it off at a park. And I went, what? What do you mean? And he goes, well, it was kind of annoying and he was nipping at people.
Wow.
So he dropped it off at a park. He drove home. The dog came back and then he dropped it off further. And I said, that's awful. And she goes, when that was happening, that's just what people did with dogs. And I was like, I guess. And look, I think it's awful. And I was like, not cool, Grandpa. This is not okay. But he was like, listen. He's like, he had a super thick Italian accent. So he was like, listen, I don't care what you say. I did it. It's over. And it's just like, you think about it now, like dogs, like my dog right now, he has 6 beds in this house. 6.
Oh yeah. 2
of them are mine, but they're his now.
Oh yeah.
You understand? Like that, they live that pampered life.
Yeah.
UGA lived the triple pampered life.
Oh, and
then he gets to retire. He gets to just retire.
Yeah, just kick back.
And he's the winningest dog in Georgia history.
Yep, he is. He is.
I don't know. It's very funny the idea like how people get upset, and it's like in Mexico, dogs live outside.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing now when I have friends who have dogs who live outside. It's like, I mean, that's what I grew up with. I mean, our dogs live outside.
But it's now weird, and you're like, bring that dog inside.
Yeah,
bring
like,
him inside.
What are you doing here? Yeah, I can remember
the way we treat dogs today is so funny because I don't mind it because I love my dogs, but like also I'm just like if I was around in the 60s, I would just be like I would kick my dog and tell him to go outside. That's just the difference.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway.
My dad has a little poodle, and that dog is they're inseparable, and they go out, but they have the funniest fights. And I'll talk to my dad, and my dad will say, "Well, Ginger is his dog's name, and Ginger. Ginger stayed outside last night." I said, "Well, what do you mean, Dad stayed outside last night?" Said she wouldn't come in. Now my dad's 84 years old. And Dad said, I ain't going to go chase her. So I just closed the door. Now, she has one of those collars that she can't leave, the front yard.
Right.
She can stay underneath. Right. But it was just so funny hearing my dad, this big state trooper. I mean, we grew up with German Shepherds and all have this little, she was little. She's not too little anymore because dad feeds her, more better than he feeds himself. And, but yes, I wasn't going to chase her. So I just left her outside. And then she came in the next morning and she pouted. So
that's the thing, though. Yeah, exactly. Like he was like, "Nah, you're staying outside."
Yeah, no.
My parents always wanted to do that with me, and then they always feel bad.
It's like, oh well. Look,
when I was little, they would lock the door and they'd be like, "You're outside for the day," and then they would like break later on. They're like, "Fine, get inside."
Yeah, come in and eat. That was it. You go outside, come in for eat lunch, and go back outside, and you come in at dinner. So and that's why that's why I think our generation, frankly, was. Managed.
Yeah. Listen, this is how it went for us. Like my parents didn't want to give me a cell phone. I might have said this on the show before.
Yeah.
But they had no choice because when they sent me off, they were like because when I was little, you got a bike like everybody else and you just took off. You went wherever. You came back. You probably had a scraped knee and you probably almost drowned in a river. But you came back. But if you didn't have that cell phone and you didn't hear it ring or you heard it ring, that's your mom because nobody else is calling you, especially if you just got one when you're in 6th or 7th grade.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the thing. She was like, you have to have this not because you deserve a phone, because I need to find you.
Exactly. Well, the issues today are really funny in the sense of, now you have people who, the kids get the phones or you have family members and we can't live without them. I mean,
right.
I look back at a time when, 34 years ago, 35 years ago, when my wife and I got married, we didn't have cell phones. I remember when I was dating Lisa, I was finishing up college and I'd go to school and I would stop at a payphone. Yes, those still operated. A payphone, put in a quarter and talk to Lisa on my way to school. That's what we did.
Yeah, you forget, and it's like the house phone doesn't really exist. The house phone is an unnecessary phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have one only, and we only have one reason. And as most of y'all know, that my daughter has spina bifida, and we have an elevator for the house so that she can go up and down, and we built it in. And we had to, because of state law. This is the funniest part. The state regulations in Georgia required that we had a landline phone.
Otherwise, that's in the garbage.
No, otherwise we wouldn't have it. I couldn't tell you the phone number.
No, I remember. That's so funny. So someone asked me for my home phone number, and it took me like 2 minutes to be like, "Wait, no, I don't have a home phone. Shut up. Get out of my face."
Yeah,
I used it, but and it's funny you don't remember. Like, think about when you were younger, and maybe you do. You remembered all of your friends' phone numbers.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't tell you my friend's phone number right now. I couldn't even tell you my mother's phone number.
I can remember. Okay, this is going to date me a little bit further. I can remember when you didn't have to do 10 digits.
Oh, Doug, don't tell people that.
Yeah, no. We could do. I think we could do actually 5 digits in local calls. So, like if you were in town, local Gainesville, I could do 5 digits.
Right. So there was a time where you didn't have to put in the zip.
You didn't put in the area code at all. No,
the area code.
No.
Right. I remember. Okay, that did exist, right? Because I thought I was losing my mind.
No. You could.
I was very little, obviously, but that did exist because I remember people would just type in 529 whatever, instead of our area code's 201.
Right.
And then everybody's number usually started with like 529.
Yep.
I don't know why. It just was what it was. Everybody's phone number in my area was it. But yeah, no, that's crazy. That's very funny. It's weird.
Well,
Yeah, we can't live without cell phones. Kids can't live without cell phones. They'd all be dead. They would all be dead. 100%.
Well, I mean, yeah, you take away the phones from the kids today. You take away, TV. You take away video games. You take away everything else. We would have a generation that would absolutely go, just have it. Go off the deep end because they wouldn't understand what to do.
No, for sure. And you know what though? I mean, that's just like that's with everything, but that it is kind of crazy that how reliable they also wouldn't know anything because things have been phased out because of phones.
Exactly.
And like they would literally not. They would. It's not because we didn't show them. It's because we don't do that now because that you have a phone or you have this, you have that, and you just don't think about it.
All right. Well, speaking of phones, this hits us to one of our topics of the as we got going here today. Which one of our topics that I found in the bin of buried treasure, and that was a lady named Karen Green got a new job in 2007, and some of her friends pitched in to buy her a brand new iPhone. This is 2007. Really, here, if you really want to get technical, James, this is when the world changed. 2007 is really when the world changed. Okay,
that's right.
The introduction of the iPhone. A lot of folks tried to get their hands on them. It was revolutionary at the time. Green wasn't one of them, in part because she had upgraded her new non-smartphone not long before and reportedly didn't want to switch from Verizon to AT&T. And it said, according to the story, I didn't want to get rid of my new non-smartphone. I figured it's an iPhone, so it'll never go out of date. Green told a daytime television program in 2019, the same month the iPhone 11 was revealed. She kept the first generation. Now get this, first generation 8 gigabyte phone sealed in the box, realizing that as the years went on, the collector might come to find it valuable. Her hunch was confirmed when appraisers on the show estimated it $5,000. But as a result of an online auction, shattered all expectations this past weekend when the Green's iPhone sold for $63,356.40, over 100 times the original cost.
That's so infuriating. That makes me so angry.
I mean, the original, and here's the crazy part, the original iPhone was expensive at the time. It was $600.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was back when you were, everybody did the financing of your phones.
Yeah, when that first came out, when it was like, I guess you said 2007, right? So 2007, 2008, it had to be. There was like some deal. What?
And this phone doesn't work.
No. Listen, there's so many things that are sold at auction that cost too much that don't do anything. But buying an iPhone that doesn't work is. You know what? There's obviously a market, and that person who just bought it for $63,000 in 10 years is going to sell it for $600,000.
Probably so. I mean, it's in it. Now this goes into something though that you and I spoke of a little bit, and I don't get. Okay, again, I think this is generational a little bit more. Although my generation sort of started this, and that is, I don't understand. As we talk about this, I don't understand the. And again, and for all the folks on there who are going to hate on this, that's fine. Just go to the DougCollinsPodcast.com, hit on the email button, and just tell me, or go to @RepDougCollins on Twitter. You can find me, or Instagram, DougCollinsGA, and talk about it. But I don't understand the tennis shoe collection fetish. I don't understand why people buy like the Air Jordans or the latest style, and they keep them in the box.
Okay, Doug, this is where we're going to differ.
I don't get it.
Doug, I don't want to call myself a sneakerhead because I don't have the money to be one.
Right.
But I do have I have like 20 plus pairs of shoes.
Okay. Now
it's closer to 30. It's closer to 30.
Is this an investment? I mean, what?
No,
what?
Absolutely not. Okay, the people who do it as an investment, those people are awesome because they're smarter than us because they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
The people who have it in the box, people will always buy them. That's the thing. Like when I was in high school, you bought them, you ruined them, whatever.
Yeah.
But the people who've just buy them and keep them boxed up and untouched.
Yeah.
The resale, Doug, the resale value of shoes is so insane. This I do understand. I probably have close to like 30 pairs of shoes, and that's only because I don't have enough money.
Yep.
If I had all the money in the world, my house would look like Foot Locker. It would. I love sneakers. I do, but I get the idea of how because they're selling the same shoe over and over again in different colors. It is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
But ask Michael Jordan how he feels sitting on $1 billion because he'll tell you.
Yeah, and there's that movie that's out right now. That just came out,
supposed to be really good. Ultimate dad movie right there.
Yeah,
that's an all-time dad movie.
Yeah, was it Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and about the Nike story? I mean, look, I guess maybe it's just coming from a different background. My wife and I were thinking about this.
Sure.
I mean, I've got several pair of shoes now. I buy my running shoes and I buy a couple pair. Keep them up. But back in the day, I mean, we were just happy to get a pair of tennis shoes. Okay. And if they were not Kuga from the Payless store, we really, from my household, we thought we were doing good. So if we got an actual pair of Nike or we got a Converse for basketball, back in the day, this was the All-Stars. These were pretty cool. And but we had to use them. If we didn't use them, we would be barefoot.
Your parents would kill you. Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. My dad thinks it's ridiculous. No. My parents, like, I remember one day I must have been, because I wouldn't ask my parents to buy me shoes. When I was playing basketball, I did when I was little.
Yeah.
But when I worked to buy all my stuff, like when I was in high school and whatever, because I knew if I asked them, they would be like, no. They would be like, I'm not spending $100 on a pair. And back then, like in high school, $100 was insane.
Oh yeah, I can remember. I remember having basketball and basketball in high school. We had to buy our shoes. The team, of course, provided the uniform itself, but then I think we bought like our warm up suits or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time that like our shoes cost like $80.
So it was crazy.
It was just unheard of.
Did your kids play basketball?
My kids? No, they didn't play. My kids didn't play basketball. They played football and baseball more than. And they didn't play basketball.
So you still had to buy them cleats.
Oh yeah, still had to buy cleats.
So you know how much the cleats are too. So I'm just saying. Like I remember when I bought basketball shoes, and it was cleats are probably a little different. Maybe I'm wrong, but like it wasn't as much of a war as it was for basketball shoes. Like
Air Jordans made it a war.
No, it is. It was, and when I was in high school, the war was whoever the best players were. Those were the shoes you got to choose from. Like you had to like truly, and your friends would they would talk about you if you got the wrong ones. You would be talked about the next day, and I love that though. That's fun. But the buying shoes, like I remember, I would buy my own shoes, and I had like 5 pairs of shoes in high school, which was a big deal to switch out, whatever. And then it grew to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I remember my mom walking by and she goes, "Why do you have a nicer collection of shoes than I do?" And I was like, "I'm sorry. It's not about you. It is what it is. I just bought the shoes. I didn't think about it."
Yeah.
The collection's crazy, but the people who resell them, Doug, like we thought they might be smarter than us because they're selling like the resale for shoes is if you get them for the $200 they cost to begin with or $150, some of them you can just sell for like $1,000 the next day, not like the next day.
Well, I mean,
can you do that with a car? No.
Look, I'm also one of those. Now here we can input some music here. Is because I and Lisa, my bride and I, we love to go to thrift shops.
Ooh,
and Goodwills. And I have been able to purchase, especially if you go like in Florida. Who does the thrift shop song?
Thrift shop. Oh, Macklemore.
Macklemore. Yeah, we have Macklemore here. Put that in. I'm going to buy some tab. Okay. Anyway, not going to sing for him. But, you go to like some of the places in Florida, in like Daytona Beach area, you go to Pensacola, you go to Naples, and they have these Goodwill stores. People, on vacation or they turn in stuff or they lose stuff and the hotels turn them into the Goodwill. I kid you not. I have bought shorts for like golf, like PGA shorts, those kind of things, with tags on them for $6. These are $80, $90 pair of shorts.
That's right.
And shirts. I mean, golf shirts and stuff. Overcoats. I had a cutter buck, sort of windbreaker. I mean, these are $70, $80, $100 things you're getting for $6 and $7, folks. The thrift shop shopping is pretty cool.
Oh, when we were in high school and junior high school, we would. All right, okay. There's the ultimate thrift shop that people don't recognize because they think it's trashy. But Marshall's used to be the ultimate thrift shop store. When we were kids, and my mom was like, "You can go wherever you want." We're like, "We want to go to Marshall's," and she was like, "Oh, okay." Like in her head, she's like, "Good, go. Here's $20. Come back with as much as you can."
Yeah.
But really, like Marshall's used to be like, whether you were a rich kid or a poor kid, everyone went to Marshall's because you used to just go in there, and you'd come out. Like if you spent $50, you might have your wardrobe for like 6 months.
Oh yeah,
like that's how much stuff you could get at Marshall's.
Was it Marshalls, Ross's, and TJ Maxx?
TJ Maxx, Ross is there was the Ross was less in my area, but TJ Maxx and Marshalls and the more upgraded version occasionally was like it was still a little cheaper with J.C. Penney, but they were more of a mall thing.
Yeah,
so.
Jacques Penney. Jacques Penney. Gallant Belt, from the South end. But, one of the other things for, okay, and I'm going to cause, some more out here, throw it out there for those of you listening, and you may just not. The one store I don't get?
Shoot.
And that's that, fiddle. It shows you how much I care less about it. But they're always advertising on TV.
What do they sell?
Clothes, just different clothes. They're sort of like the chic, but there's low end. I mean, price wise,
I don't know. The only thing I can think of that does like some is like Macy's.
No. This has the jeans. They have always the sort of the
Century 21.
No, catchy. Oh, fiddle. What's the name
Oh boy,
this?
You lost it, Doug.
I've lost it. I mean, I'm having my senior moment here. It is.
This is what they're going to make fun of you for.
They make fun of this for the senior moment. But no, they sell T-shirts, they sell jeans, they sell.
There's a lot of stores that sell T-shirts and jeans, Doug.
Yeah, I'm digging a hole deeper here.
Express, American Eagle, whatever.
You're in the right vein.
Not the one that was like for where they had like models outside of it. Oh, well, no, man. I forgot the store, but when we were kids, they would have shirtless models outside. It was weird.
No, this is not it. Fiddle.
Maybe, you know what? Let's let it come back to you. Let's think about it. We'll keep going the show. If it comes back to us, or it'll come back to us 6 weeks from now, and you'll be like, that thing I was talking about.
When I say it, you're gonna like, okay, you're an idiot.
It's gonna frustrate you. All right, well then let's for the moment.
Anyway, we'll figure it out as we go. Anyway, besides the dress, the Rosses, all those kind of things, you find good stuff, and it is sort of. And in the article talking about this iPhone, it talks about that everybody is looking for nostalgia. And
for sure.
So this iPhone 2007, even though it doesn't work or anything else, is something that people want.
Why do you think Stranger Things works so well?
I think it's
Stranger Things is an awesome story, but there's a ton of people who grew up in the 80s. That generation is watching television too, That's why when they do stuff from the 90s, I'm like, don't do that yet. I'm not old enough for that. Do stuff from the 2000s. I'm not old enough. Don't make me nostalgic about something that just happened. But for the 80s, let's think about how long ago that is.
Oh, thanks, James. Let's just continue the conversation.
No, Doug, it just is what it is. It was a long time ago.
Yeah,
but really, when somebody tells me, like, I just turned 30, which is horrifying when I say it out loud.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm already halfway
down.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Somebody my back is killing me already.
Yeah. It's terrible.
But like when Stranger Things came out, like the 80s like is first of all, it's one of the most it's such when people talk about the 80s, some people talk about it in a light that like can't be described, and some people are like, I almost died in the 80s. And I think that's very funny. That's very but like when that show came out, yes, the story is amazing. But the nostalgia of it was like half of it for people.
It's the music.
And people like need that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's the music. You know, the cable running uphill. You know, I mean, that song went from. And if people don't realize this, we'll, if you don't remember the song, James will put it into the.
If you don't remember that song, you were under a rock for the last year.
Yeah, so we'll put it in here for a minute. All right, see, I knew you'd remember it once you heard it. So, but also speaking of remembering, the old man on the podcast is remembered. Old Navy.
Old Navy. Yeah, that store's awful. That store.
I mean, I don't get
their pitch had to be like, do you guys want to be the most boring place on the planet? Yes. Go for it.
I mean, but they would put these ads out. Oh, Old Navy. Then it's like, huh? I mean,
Old Navy was like, let's talk about wearing mom jeans. That's what I think of Old Navy. I think of like the most boring people on the planet shopping for jeans. That's Old Navy.
Yeah.
Are we going to get in trouble? You think Old Navy's going to come after us? Old Navy doesn't know we exist.
They probably don't. But if they want to be a sponsor of the Doug Collins podcast, please let me know.
I'll
be happy to talk the
rescind
virtues of Old Navy. I'll have all of a sudden become a convert as we go. Speaking of converts, James, what do you got this morning?
Well, I wanted to. We were talking about baseball a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And the season is upon us, and the best thing that could have happened for baseball has happened. And that's that the game is speeding up. As much as I love summer baseball and sitting out having some beers and relaxing, you could look away from the game and it could still be the fifth inning for the last 6 hours. Baseball's long. With the new pitching count rule, with the new clock, the game is sped up. However, it looks like this has affected the stadiums and the money they're making because most stadiums don't, and this goes for football too, at a certain inning or a certain quarter, they stop selling alcohol. Right. Mainly because people are ridiculous and they take advantage of it and they black out and they start fights. Or they fall.
Or get ready to go drive home.
Or get ready to go drive. You see, that's where my brain didn't go, but you're right. You got to stop people from driving home because drunk driving is horrible.
Give them at least an hour to sober up.
Got to give them at least an hour to sober up. But now that the wallets of the stadiums are being affected, some of these stadiums, and I believe it's Texas Rangers for sure because I saw it, and I think there are others, are extending your ability to buy alcohol to the eighth inning. So what happened was, I'm assuming, the Texas Ranger games were going by very quickly, and they weren't making enough money on beer. And so they extended it because they're not worried about your safety. They're worried about their wallets.
Well, you gotta have it. It's interesting. You talk about that, a few years ago, I didn't realize this. Now, this is a cultural thing, that in the South, for the most part, SEC, a lot of the other, look, to think that alcohol was not a part of tailgating in the SEC is just ignorant. Okay. It was, but what you couldn't do is buy alcohol in the stadiums.
Like at all?
At all.
And you know what that's right. I remember this. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
And now there's some discussion about, taking that out and then, allowing it in some areas. But I was floored when I went to an ACC. I went to a Clemson, Georgia game, and Clemson sold alcohol. ACC sold alcohol at the game. Of course, if I was watching an ACC ball game too, I'd probably need the alcohol to watch the ACC play football. But also, I didn't come to realize, talking to some of my friends across the country, that up north it had been done forever.
Oh, you mean buying alcohol in stadiums?
Yeah, at college games, like and my understanding, like,
but that's because our football and stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us, so we don't get as blackout drunk. I mean, if you go to Rutgers, you'll die. But football, but no, it's like that's it for us though. Like seriously, you guys, when you guys are younger, you could talk about Alabama, you could talk about Georgia, you could talk about everything that encompasses the SEC. You can talk about all that stuff. We have none of that. We have none of that tradition. We have Rutgers, and then we have basketball. That's like it's true. Like we had St. John's and the Big East, and that was everything to us. Big East basketball is the East Coast. The South is all football, and
South
so
and
you
Midwest,
and listen, the people don't get as rowdy at a basketball game as you do at a football game outdoors. Those kids are listen. We've all been to tailgates when we were in college and high school. We were dangerous. We were dangerous people.
Yep. Well, that's sort of the. But again, you made a great point. The games are speeding up. Have you heard us? I mean, James, I'm curious. I know that they're saying it has. Has there been on the fast? What we're in 3 weeks in now, something like that. By the way, the Braves are playing fairly well, which is scary. But have we heard empirical evidence that the games are speeding up?
Oh, for sure. It's not, I'm not even. I don't think it's up for debate. I can look at this. Let's see. I'm just because I didn't check this before.
I knew it was in spring training. It had dropped like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, listen. I don't know. I'm trying to see. Yeah. So MLB games reached an all-time high with an average time of 3 hours and 11 minutes 21. Okay, sorry. This is an old article, but the pitch clock is working and games are going by faster.
Well,
it's a fact. People who are at the games are saying it themselves.
Well, the interesting part
it's
here,
a good thing. It is. Listen.
Well, is it just that much different though than football? Because in NFL you kick off at 1 o'clock and then you have the 4 o'clock game. So I mean it's 3+ hours in football.
But there's something you're forgetting about football that baseball has a problem of being very boring.
Well, yeah.
In football, yes, there are horrible games and they're bad.
I've watched,
but most of the time, baseball is just throwing a pitch and having like a 9-pitch
and waiting
10-pitch at bat, and that for some people can be very boring. They're trying to keep fans at the games.
Yeah, well, look, I've watched Big Ten and ACC football. I understand boring. So okay, as we go. All right, moving to our last topic of the morning. This one is one that I have been following. I don't think I brought it up on Friday's Finest, but this is one that I have been following for a little while now. Men plead guilty after being accused of stuffing fish with weights at tournament. Kid you not. I first saw this a few months ago, like last September on Instagram. This became a big deal with like Meat Eater Podcast, Steve Ranella, all these folks on fishing. And what happened was these men, and they actually showed it. If you can go to Instagram, you can look it up probably on search engine and find it. People have been thinking they were cheating, but they couldn't prove it. Well, at this one tournament, an Ohio fishing tournament, for some reason, the allegations came and the people running the tournament took the fish that they had just weighed in and split them open. And inside of the fish, they found fishing weight, stuffed walleye fillets inside of these other fish. I mean, boosting them by, 2 pounds or more. And they were winning tournaments. Allegation surfaced. They were actually, it got to be pretty ugly when they saw this. They did a plea deal this past week, and the Runyon and Kaminsky pleaded guilty to cheating and unlawful ownership of wild animals and agreed to a 3-year suspension of their fishing license. They also agreed to give up. Kaminsky also agreed to give up a bass boat worth $100,000. They had actually won a bass boat because they won the series tournament. They won a bass boat on cheating. And
I don't understand. So how do they stuff fish?
Down the mouth. They were taking the fish because they didn't cut them open.
How did no one notice this for so long?
They did, but nobody would actually say, for instance, yes, this is actually going to do it. But this amounts to fraud, is what it is. I mean, and that was
that's exactly what it is. You're winning tournaments by stuffing fish.
I mean, they came from nowhere. Sort of. The worst part about this was there were a couple of guys who came from nowhere. Bass tournaments and all these are real legit deals. Okay. So fishing bass tournaments, a lot of money involved, fishing walleye tournaments, all this. And and the groups travel around for years. It's almost like NASCAR, okay? In the sense, so everybody knows everybody. And all of a sudden, these two young guys come in and all of a sudden start winning tournaments. And not winning tournaments by, barely. They become winning tournaments by a lot. When nobody else is catching big fish, they're catching supposedly 2 and 3 pound bigger fish in the same area.
Right.
So
those aren't even in here.
Right. So they started beginning to be suspicious of them. Then they won in like their first season on the tour. They won the tournament. They won the tour. And then the next year, last year, when it started up again, they were saying, okay, well, something ain't right. But like I said, you can go to a search engine, look this up, and just
is there video of them like opening the fish?
Oh yeah, they show it, and buddy, people are getting ill. I mean, the other fishermen start yelling at them. I mean, it was
a video of them getting caught. That's this is what I don't understand, right? This is the arrogance of some people, is that they think they're geniuses and the first people to think of this.
Yeah.
Because anybody else would go, all right, let's do this once or twice. We're out.
Now, let's
these guys got greedy.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you get caught. This is the story of, if you look at the story of everyone who's ever been caught or in trouble, it's greediness. It's never we did it a couple times. It's never we did it 1 or 2 times. It's we kept doing this until we got caught.
Yeah, it's like we're just gonna keep rolling right down this mountain until we're done. And that's exactly what happened. But
that's crazy.
How many times on Friday's Finest is this what normally happens? It's the everyday things in life that get changed and moved and perverted, and they end up on Friday's Finest. Well,
That's right.
Friday's Finest gives us a lot. I had a story. I haven't been able to look it back up. There was this idiot down in Florida, speaking of wonderful people, who climbed over the fence into the police department down in Naples, Florida. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, just dumb. But folks, greed is one of those problematic areas in your life that, especially if you may have a problem. What's the old saying? You may, from down here with the comedians, you might be a redneck if. You might have a problem if you're at a walleye tournament and you're stuffing weights into and fillets of other walleye into the fish to win a tournament.
That's so crazy.
Go figure. But folks, that's what it is here on Friday's Finest. James and I we scour the pages to bring you the finest, the most interesting, the cocktail party, tailgate party, working around your weekend. Good information for you to chat about when nothing else is worth chatting about. We're giving you your weekend playlist for things that you can show that you are in the know. That's Friday's Finest here on the Doug Collins Podcast. Always glad to have you a part of us. We'll be back at it again next week. God bless you. We'll see you later. Say bye, James.
See you next week, everyone.